Hello, it's the Friday Talkie. What am I going to talk about today then? I'm going to talk about the same thing I'm pretty sure absolutely everyone is talking about. EA and SimCity. What the bloody hell? So, I'm sure you know what's going on here. EA have released SimCity with always on DRM. Basically, you have got to be connected to the internet for your game to work. Never mind that it's a single player game for the most part. Something that up until now you could play on your computer or console or whatever. I mean, I remember playing the first SimCity on a SNES. I have it stashed away somewhere for the BBC Micro. I mean, it goes all the way back to the 8-bit days. But now, unless you're connected to the internet, you can't play it. But it's worse than that, because people have bought it in their masses and the server can't keep up. So you've paid your money, you've got your game, you've installed it on your computer or whatever, and you can't connect to the server, so you can't play. Now, they have done some stuff to try and mitigate this problem, basically removing functionality from the game. They've removed one of the speed options and other stuff. I can't even remember the details of it. Now, all of this you probably know, and I haven't got any information that you won't know. I suppose what I want to do is ask a question. How far do you think this kind of thing will go, given that there has been an immense backlash and people see this kind of anti-piracy bullshit for what it is? Will people continue to buy games with this kind of crap in them? Because what they've effectively done is they're promoting piracy. If you've done the right thing, if you've been law-abiding and paid your money and given EA your cash and bought this game from them, they've royally shafted you up the botty. You can't play their game unless you're really lucky and happen to find a server with a bit of bandwidth and runtime left over, and it'll probably drop out halfway through your game and lose all of your city that you built. So that's kind of encouraging people to buy pirated copies. You will lose, no doubt, some functionality. I say download free pirated copies. You'll lose functionality. You will lose some of the stuff that you get from being online, like saving to EA servers, like being on leaderboards. But it's a single player game that up until now you could save all of your saves on your home computer. Can you on this? I don't know. I don't know all of the details. Because I haven't got the game, and I'm absolutely damned if I will ever buy a game with that kind of bullshit on it. I understand some games where it's necessary to be online. These are online games. Battlefield 3, fine, no problem. I'm shooting other people who are, you know, real people, kind of, not in the real world. You know what I mean? But for a single player game to have this kind of bullshit, I just see it as encouraging people to get pirate copies. Really, have EA shot themselves in the foot. Anyway, I was talking to Andrea, my wife, about this, because I said, how can people possibly accept this kind of crap? I wouldn't, not for a moment. How is it that, knowing there was this always on DRM, people are still buying it? And she said, well, back in the day, 20 odd years ago, something like that, she used to buy games for her son when he was a youngster, and what was available was what she bought, and she didn't give any thought to the technical aspects or anything like that. And if she were 20 years younger now and he was the age now that he was then, and he wanted this game, she would have bought it, not knowing anything about those details or what up until now had been considered acceptable. And this is what EA are playing on and banking on. There is a generation of gamers who are, it would appear now, in a majority, who For them, this kind of bullshit is the norm. It's just how it is. There are some people who, when I complain about this kind of crap, say, well, that's just progress. You can't live in the past. I don't see being shafted by a gaming company, publisher, whatever, as progress. It's not. It's regressive. It's just greedy. People just accept it because there is a younger generation who don't know any better. They haven't known a gaming industry or scene or whatever that worked differently, and it's been creeping in gradually. That they've been like nibbling away at what we would consider acceptable, until what a few years ago would have been intolerable is now the norm. And it kind of says something like gamers like myself have got to be in a minority. EA must have decided now that the people who bought games years ago and knew what they wanted and how things should work are now in such a minority, like many have just got older and don't play games anymore, have moved out of the gaming scene, whilst the youngsters have moved in, and they now being in the majority, EA can say, fuck the older gamers who know any better. There aren't enough of them to matter now. The new gamers who won't care, there are more of them. They're a bigger chunk of the pie, or at least they're clearly a big enough chunk of the pie to take a chance and say, we're going to shaft you and you're going to like it. I hope enough people say, no, we ain't having this. Amazon have stopped selling SimCity now because of this debacle. And I say good. They might get the technical aspects sorted. EA might fix their servers so that everyone can log on and play. And they bloody well ought to, because people have paid good money to play this game. And they're not even getting what was advertised because features have been disabled to try and fix things. But things are still broken, last thing I heard. Anyway, I still say not good enough, because gaming companies are not forever. How many games publishers, developers, whatever can you think of that have gone by the way? You know, they're folded, and it's Acclaim. They were huge. They went back in, was it the 90s? You know, there have been some very, very big publishers who've gone. And if EA go, or Maxis, or whatever, or the Origin system that I think they're using folds, you can't play your game. You've paid for it. You should by rights own it. But if they go down, you can't play your game, and the only way to do it will be piracy. The whole thing is stupid. It's greed gone mad. I'm appalled. You should be. There I am telling you what you should or shouldn't do. How hypocritical of me. Never tell me what I should do. But you know what I mean. It's ridiculous, and it shouldn't. It's not acceptable. Okay, that's enough of that. Rant over. Other stuff. Okay, there is a tag that's doing the rounds at the moment. This one is by Sandamtod. Have you ever skipped work or school because of video gaming? Have you ever been up, pulled an all-nighter playing video games and just been so knackered in the morning that you couldn't go to work or school, you pulled a sickie or whatever? That is the question. No. Not quite. I have been... No, actually. You see, I'm confusing gaming with internet. I've never actually missed a day of work, or I don't even remember school. It didn't take much for me to look for an excuse to not go to school. I had a bad attitude towards school and was off frequently because I didn't fit in. Anyway, so when I was in school, no, I would take time off to go fishing. But gaming, no, I don't think I've ever missed work because of never skipped work to play a video game, but never been up all night playing and then couldn't get up in the morning from a video game. There were occasions where a friend of mine would come round, and in fact a couple of times, 2 friends, they would come round and we would play video games all night. There was one occasion that I remember where this chap came round and we were playing Command & Conquer Red Alert. On the PS1 we had 2 of them hooked up, 2 TVs, and we started playing at 7 o'clock in the evening and played right through till 10 o'clock the next morning. On just one round of Command & Conquer, because we were fairly evenly matched, though he usually beat me. Bastard. But that was on a Friday, so there was no work the next day. I did have trouble getting up in the mornings for work, but that was the internet, and in fact that was IRC. I was really quite hooked on that, and I was also building a website, so I'd sit there building my website whilst chatting in IRC chat rooms, and I would be up until stupid o'clock, 5 in the morning. And this would make me late for work sometimes, because I'd go to sleep and then the alarm would go off in the morning and I would sleep right through it, and I would wind up late for work and in trouble. And that used to be kind of embarrassing and awkward and tricky, but never gaming. No, not that I recall. Yeah, so no, I was kind of... Have I been responsible with my gaming? I mean, I know I have played video games to the point that Andrea has said, come on, I haven't seen enough of you today or this week or something. That was when last time that was a problem or an issue was with Grand Theft Auto 5 and maybe Half-Life 2, things like that. But these days I actually spend not that much time gaming anymore, so it generally, no, it just isn't an issue anymore. Yeah, I think it was kind of when I moved in here and I hadn't found the balance of what was and wasn't an acceptable amount of time to spend gaming. And these are things you learn when you're in a relationship. What is too much? And yeah, I found the line, I crossed it, I got told off, I stepped back. Quite a long way. I'm very, very responsible with my gaming now. They should put stickers on games like you see your adverts on the telly for beer and whatever. Always drink responsibly. They should put stickers on your game. Always game responsibly. Warning, these games can seriously damage your social life, marriage, whatever. Yeah. Okay, I do have a shout out, so let me swing the camera around. This is GigerPunk, who I've known for some time on Twitter, past the odd tweets back and forth on. We seem to have just a similar attitude on certain things. So yeah, but he's got a YouTube channel which up until very recently has been full of chickens, which is cool actually, because I think chickens are great. But he started doing some gaming stuff, Commodore 64 stuff, there's some PS2 stuff. Basically he wanted to go back and try all this old stuff because he'd completely gotten out of gaming, and certainly the older things, like he played them to death years ago and had got out of gaming, so decided he wanted to go back and have a go at them and try and remind himself, why did I get into these? What else can I tell you? Not a lot. You get gameplay, you get commentary. He's got a nice relaxed style. He's got a voice that's easy to listen to, and that always helps, because there's nothing worse than listening to a channel where the person's got a voice that's like, I don't know, a broken cement mixer. And I just find them very interesting and just enjoyable. Yeah, they're relaxing viewing on the kind of games that I like to watch, really. He's at 22 subscribers at the moment, only just started doing these videos. I don't know how long he's going to continue doing them, because I know it's like he's got some time on his hands at the moment. We shall see, but I'm enjoying watching them, so he gets my shout out this week. That is GigerPunk. Okay then, so closing comments. What have I got coming up? More of the same. Yeah, there's going to be more Amiga stuff with whatever else thrown in that I can. There is stuff appearing on my Benway's World channel that driving type videos. I've got a camera mount. It's actually not a camera mount, it's a mobile phone mount. And I've stuck that in there. Initially I had it stuck down on it's a windscreen mount, but I've looked up the law on that kind of thing, and it's very, very, very strict on where you can and can't put your mount. So while I wasn't breaking the law, while I had it mounted in my windscreen, it was marginal. And I don't want to get pulled over by some police officer saying, "You're breaking the law with that," and me saying, "No, I'm not. Look, here's a ruler. Let's measure it." I don't want to have to do all of that. So I've now stuck it on a side window. And it doesn't obscure any views anywhere, and it's all entirely legal and stuff. Yeah, but it was absolutely, I mean, anyone else who ever does that kind of thing, it really, really, really would pay to look up the law in your particular area, because until I received a few comments on one of those videos, it didn't even occur to me that there might be some law that I might be breaking. But yeah, it was marginal. But there will be driving videos. I mean, there are a couple there now. There will probably be more because they're fun to do, and I'm driving, not lots. I'm trying to put in an hour or two a day just to get some driving experience without me instructor or my wife sitting next to me, because having passed, I don't have to have them there, and it's like, okay, I've got to do all the thinking myself. And I'm actually finding, the first time I did it, I was terrified. It was like, oh my God, I can't believe they're allowing me to do this. How is this legal that I'm allowed to get in this thing and go and drive it? But now it feels very normal. I'm still, I won't say tense. I am cautious. I am a cautious driver. And I think for someone with my lack of experience, that's a very good thing. If you see videos there where I appear to be going very, very fastly, trust me, they are speeded up a lot. I drive around like a granny, and I will continue to do so because, well, the safety record of my model of car is piss poor. It is Euro NCAP 2-star. You crash that thing head on into anything at 60 miles an hour and you ain't getting out. So I just poodle along. Yeah, there'll be videos. So, anything else I can tell you about? I don't really think so. That is a short video today, isn't it? I've had little time for gaming. I've had little time for watching videos of gaming, so it's like I'm not really aware of what's going on. But I mean, you can't miss the EA thing. It's appalling. That's it. Done. Finished. Thank you for watching.